They silenced us, erased our stories, buried our truths where they thought no one would dig.
The silence between her words. In the quiet village of Oru, stories moved like the wind, rustling banana leaves, carried on smoky firelight, and told in the hush of evening shadows. But only certain voices were allowed to shape them. Men spoke in the market square, at the shrine, during judgment gatherings. They debated, declared, and delivered the laws of life. Women, however, lived between those words. Their voices were songs, soft, laced into lullabies. Their thoughts were prayers whispered into bubbling pots. They could hum grief into the stew or sing joy into millet, but to write, to record their minds on paper, was a thing unheard of, unthinkable, forbidden. 12-year-old Amma had grown up in that silence. She was the youngest in a family of many mouths and very few ears. She had learned, with the precision of habit, how to carry water without spilling, how to walk without sound, how to lower her eyes and her voice until both disappeared. But her mother, F, was different. F was not a loud woman. No, she too moved gently, with the grace of a leaf on still water. But her eyes always looked through things, through the smoky thatch roof, through Amma's practiced silence, through the walls that held women small. There was always something just beneath her quiet, like a river beneath cracked earth. And then one rainy season, F fell ill. The village healer said it was the spirit of the rain that had soaked into her bones. But Amma knew better. Her mother faded in silence, her breath slowing like the last note of forgotten song. When she died, Amma did not cry immediately. There were rituals, visitors, keening songs from other women. The village carried out its mourning, but Amma's grief sat still inside her, wordless. Her mother left behind only two things: a scarf that smelled of lemongrass and smoke, and a small wooden box, hidden under a loose floorboard in the cooking hut, the one place her mother had claimed as her own. Amma found the box on the 7th night after the funeral, when the morning drums had faded and the voices had returned to laughter and trade. It wasn't curiosity that pulled her there. It was something deeper, a magnetic grief, a longing to be near her mother in some small way. She lifted the box with trembling hands. Inside were scraps of folded paper, thin and brittle like dry leaves. Some had browned at the edges. All of them were covered in F's handwriting. Small, slanted, careful, like footsteps on a secret path. Amma couldn't read much. Girls in Oru were taught to count, to recite proverbs to serve, not to read. But there was one line she recognized on every page. There is power in the silence between our words. She didn't know exactly what it meant, but she felt it. It pressed against her chest like something trying to be born. Over the next few weeks, Amma did something dangerous. She lit a candle each night, hiding it behind a calabash, and taught herself to read using her mother's words. Each note was a window into a world Amma had never known women could have. Today, the market chief said a woman's mind is like smoke. It rises but disappears. I smiled, but inside I thought, even smoke can choke a man if he isn't careful. Amma watched the butterfly today. I prayed she would never clip her wings to please small minds. I cannot speak my thoughts, so I fold them like cloth and place them here, where only a brave heart might unfold them. Each line peeled back something in Amma, her fear, her obedience, the layers of silence stitched into her since birth. She began to write her own thoughts too, on leaves, on the back of old yam sacks, on strips of palm bark. She folded them, hid them beneath stones, thatched roofing, even beneath the water jar, until one day someone found one. Her uncle, a stern man with thunder in his eyebrows, held the paper like it had stung him. He read it aloud to the family. It was nothing treasonous, just a small note. I write because my thoughts do not fit inside my silence anymore. He looked around the compound. Who wrote this? No one spoke. The wind even held its breath. Amma stepped forward. Her feet were trembling, but her spine was straight. I did, she said softly, but clearly. The silence that followed was louder than a storm. Her uncle stared at her, as though she had grown horns. You are a girl, he said. Girls do not write. She lowered her eyes for a moment, and then raised them again, to face not just him, but the room. Some faces looked away in shame. Others looked confused. But one, just one, looked back with a strange softness. Her grandmother, that night, after the lanterns had been put out, her grandmother called her gently. They walked barefoot across the compound to the edge of the yam barn. There, beneath a mound of dried stalks, her grandmother dug with slow, deliberate hands until she pulled out another box, dusty, older, carved with faint symbols. Inside were dozens of letters. "I wrote ones too," the old woman whispered. "So did my mother, and her mother before her. We were taught to forget, but we didn't. We hid." Alma clutched the box to her chest and wept. Not out of fear, not out of sadness, but from the aching, joyous weight of belonging. Years passed. Alma never stopped writing. She became a teacher, the first in Aura to teach girls how to read not just Kaura numbers or wedding chants, but the stars, the rivers, and their own minds. Where her mother's cooking hut once stood, she built a small library, round and warm, made of mud and love. In its center, beneath a glass case, lay a single folded note. The paper was yellowed with time, but the words were still strong. There's power in the silence between our words, but greater power still when we choose to speak. And speak they did. Little girls, grown women, mothers, widows, even men came, eventually, drawn by the strength of words that had waited generations to be heard. The silence had not been broken. It had been transformed. Subscribe to this channel. Like and share this video for more inspiring and life-changing stories.